guys, welcome to the 5th video in our Gavel estate planning intake workflow video series. Today we're going to go over how to customize your workflow using Markdown and how to use variables within your workflow in question and page titles. Let's get started. Alright guys, this is an example of what Markdown can look like in a workflow to your client. You can do italics, bold and italics. You can do links. This link will take you to the Gavel homepage. You can do email to links, so if they click on this, they'll be able to email this email address. Same thing with the phone numbers. And you can do collapsible text. If I click this arrow, there's more text under it. And then you can center things within a workflow. And I'll show you what this looks like actually built into the workflow. Let me just zoom in on my screen so you can see a little better. So I've built this into an instruction block. To do italic text, you'll just put one asterisk before or after. To do line breaks so that your text shows up on the next line down, you just do the less than sign, BR, and then the greater than sign. And if you want to make it double spaced, you'll just do 2 of those. For bold text, you do 2 asterisks before and after. And if you want to do bold and italics, you'll do 3 before and after. To do link displays, you'll put in brackets the text that you want to display to your client. So if you want it to say, like, click here to follow this link to so-and-so page, that's what you'll put here. And then in parentheses next to that, you'll put the actual link that they will be following. To do the email to, you'll just need to make sure that you're using this syntax here, and then do mail to the email address that you're trying to email to, and then you'll do the display email address here. And you want to make sure that you start it with this less than sign A, and then you want to do the less than sign, the backslash, the A, and then the greater than sign. For cell phone number link, it's going to work like the link display. You're going to put the phone number that you want them to be able to call, or you're going to put the phone number you want them to see in the brackets. And then the phone number that they're going to call needs to just be inserted into the parentheses like this, the TEL colon, and then just the numbers, no dashes. And then that will insert that phone number link. To do the collapsible tests, you have to start with this details syntax and then summary. And then you put the text you want to display to them first. And then you're gonna close out that summary condition. Then you'll put the text that you want to show when they click on that little drop-down arrow. And then you'll close out the details condition. And then to center text, you'll just start with the center condition with the less than sign, center, greater than sign. And then you'll put what text you want to be centered there. And then it'll do less than, backslash, center, greater than sign. Those are just some examples of what you can do with Markdown in your workflow. Now we're going to move on to how to use prior answers to variables in a workflow within the workflow later. So you see how we have this section, your estate planning choices with 3 pages, and then your spouse's estate planning choices with 3 pages. We can add to this title the client's names, and then we could add to the title of these pages the spouse's names. I'm going to show you how to do that. So you'll find the variable that you want to use later, copy it. I'm going to click into this page, and in that page title, I'm going to put $, a curly bracket, the variable name, and then close that curly bracket. I'm going to do that with these 2 as well. And what this is going to do is pull that client name from the first page into the workflow here. But that information has to be entered already in order for later pages to use it. So I wouldn't be able to use this trick within the same page. I couldn't try to populate the client's name here because it's entered in on the same page. But anything that follows after it can be used in. And it can be used in the page titles. It can also be used in the question titles. So for here, what is the full name of the person you are designating? I could say, what is the full name of the person the client is designating? And then you'll just click save. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing with the spouse. All right, and once you've made all the changes, you're going to run the workflow. We're going to go ahead and choose all three. And you'll just enter in that information. Once you've got all that information entered, you can see it now pulls in the client's name here as it was previously entered on the first page. And if we enter in all of client's information, it's doing that for every page that we added inserted in, and it's also doing it in the question titles. And you can see it does the same thing in the spouse's pages as well. So whichever variable you designated there is the one that it's going to pull in. You can also use previous variables as choices in some of your choices questions, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let's say for the spouse, we want to pre-populate the choice of client 1 for them. We can change this to a combo box question, and that first choice can be client full name. We'll save that change, and this is what that looks like. So you see here, that variable is now a choice. With the combo box question, you also have the option to just type in a choice. But you can do this in multi-select and single select questions as well. If you have answers on a previous page that you want to use later on in your workflow as options, you can always do that by just doing that $, curly bracket, variable name, end curly bracket. That's how you can use variables from prior pages later on in your workflow. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you'd like further information, you can go to help.gavel.io. And if you'd like to get started with a free trial account with Gavel, you can use this URL here. This link is also available on our page, and you can get going with your free trial account. If this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.